Welcome to Yeats Day, Sandymount. As you probably know, W.B. Yeats was born on Sandymount Avenue in 1865, and the residents of Sandymount have been commemorating that day for many years. But this year, as you can see, it's somewhat different. Because of the COVID-19, we have been unable to do our regular day on the 13th of June. So one of our many readers, Morris Curran, offered to do a virtual Yeats Day, and this is the start of it. And I will read a poem first of all, and then I will be followed by many of our regular readers. Now the poem I chose is The Wild Swans at Coole, and the reason I chose this one to start off the proceedings was because one of the lines in it caught my eye. In the middle of the poem, Yeats says, "All's changed since I." And this year, certainly, all has changed for everybody, for everybody's life. The wild swans at Coole. The trees are in their autumn beauty. The woodland paths are dry. Under the October twilight, the water mirrors a still sky. Upon the brimming water among the stones are 59 swans. The 19th autumn has come upon me since I first made my count. I saw, before I had well finished, all suddenly mount and scatter, wheeling in great broken rings upon their clamorous wings. I have looked upon those brilliant creatures, and now my heart is sore. All's changed since I, hearing at twilight, the first time on this shore, the bell beat of their wings above my head, trod with a lighter tread. Unwearied still, lover by lover, they paddle in the cold, companionable streams or climb the air. Their hearts have not grown old. Passion or conquest, wander where they will, attend upon them still. But now they drift on the still water, mysterious, beautiful. Among what rushes will they build? By what lake's edge or pool? Delight men's eyes when I awake some day to find that they have flown away. Now, as I say, we will have more readings from some of our regular Yeats Day people in Sandymount. Thank you.
Read Hanrahan's song about Ireland. The old brown tree breaks in two high over common strand, under a bitter black wind that blows from the left hand. Our courage breaks like an old tree in a black wind and dies, but we have in our hearts the eyes and flame of Kathleen, the daughter of Hanrahan. The wind has bundled up the clouds high over Knocknarea and thrown the thunder on the stones for all that Maeve can say. Angers that are like noisy clouds have set our hearts a beat, but we have all bent low and low and kissed the quiet feet of Kathleen, the daughter of Hanrahan. The yellow pool has overflowed high up on Clwyd na Bare, for the wild winds are blowing out of the clinging air. Like heavy flooded waters and bodies and our blood, but purer than the tall candle beside the holy rood is Kathleen, the daughter of Hanrahan.
An Irish airman foresees his death. I know that I shall meet my fate somewhere among the clouds above. Those that I fight, I do not hate. Those that I guard, I do not love. My country is Kiltartan Cross. My countrymen, Kiltartan's poor. No likely end could bring them loss or leave them happier than before. Nor law nor duty bade me fight, for public men, nor cheering crowds. A lonely impulse of delight drove to this tumult in the clouds. I balanced all, brought all to mind. The years to come seemed waste of breath. A waste of breath the years behind, in balance with this life, this death.
Leda and the Swan is one of Yeats's mildly erotic sonnets, dealing as it does with sex, lust, and in fact rape. Leda was a princess of Sparta, whose beauty attracted Zeus, the king of the gods, and he, in the guise of a swan, has his wicked way with her. Leda and the Swan. A sudden blow, the great wings beating still above the staggering girl, her thighs caressed by the dark webs, her nape caught in his bill, he holds her helpless breast upon his breast. How can those terrified vague fingers push the feathered glory from her loosening thighs? And how can body laid in that white rush but feel the strange heart beating where it lies? A shudder in the loins engenders there the broken wall, the burning roof and tower, and Agamemnon dead. Being so caught up, so mastered by the brute blood of the air, did she put on his knowledge with his power before the indifferent beak could let her drop.
This is entitled An Appointment. Being out of heart with government, I took a broken root to fling, where the proud wayward squirrel went, taking delight that he could spring. And he, with that low whining sound that is like laughter, sprang again, and so to the other tree at a bound, not the tame will, not timid brain, nor heavy knitting of the brow, bred that fierce tooth and cleanly limb. And he threw him up to laugh on the bough, no government appointed him.
At Galway Races. This poem was written in Coole Park in Lady Gregory's house in 1908, after the poet spent a day at the infamous Galway Races. There, where the course is, delight makes all of one mind. The riders upon the galloping horses, the crowd that closes in behind. We too had good attendance once, hearers and hearteners of the work. I, horsemen for companions, before the merchant and the clerk. Breathe on the world with timid breath, sing on somewhere at the new moon. We'll learn that sleeping is not death, hearing the whole earth change its tune. Its flesh being wild, and it again crying aloud as the racecourse is, and we find hearteners among them that ride upon horses.
The Lamentations of the Old Pensioner. Although I sheltered from the rain under a broken tree, my chair was nearest to the fire in every company that talked of love or politics, ere time transfigured me. Though lads are making pikes again for some conspiracy, and crazy rascals fill their rage at human tyranny, my contemplations are of time that has transfigured me. There's not a woman turns her face upon a broken tree, and yet the beauties that I loved are in my memory. I spit into the face of time that has transfigured me.
The poem I'm going to read is a very popular poem by W.B. Yeats, and also one of the shortest, with just 8 lines. It's known by 2 titles. When it was first published in 1899, in Yeats's 3rd volume of poetry, The Wind Among the Reeds, it was known as 8 Wishes for the Cloths of Heaven. and later it became known as He Wishes for the Cloths of Heaven. Aid is the speaker in this poem, and he's a character used in many Yeats poems, along with Michael Robartes and Red Hanrahan, and these become known as the principles of the mind the poet uses. The name Aid is the root name of Aidan, and has links with Irish mythology and the word Aid meaning fire. Yeats describes Aid's character as the myrrh and frankincense which burns by itself, and we know the common theme in Yeats' poetry is this burning but unrequited love for Maud Gonne. In this poem, the speaker declares a message that if he were rich, he would give the world and all its treasures to the one he loves. But being poor, he can only give his dreams, and they are delicate and vulnerable. So he pleads in the last and very famous line for her to tread softly and not reject him. It's thought that he may have dropped his alter ego Aid from the title. It replaced it with he after the dream of acquiring Maud's love faded. And so I will read He Wishes for the Cloths of Heaven by W.B. Yeats. Had I the heavens embroidered cloths, enwrought with golden and silver light, the blue and the dim and the dark cloths of night and light and the half-light, I would spread the cloths under your feet. But I, being poor, have only my dreams. I have spread my dreams under your feet. Tread softly, because you tread on my dreams.
To a child dancing in the wind. The child in this poem is Iseult Gonne, Maud Gonne's daughter, and I'd like to dedicate this poem to my grandniece Eliza. Dance there upon the shore. What need have you to care for wind or water's roar? And tumble out your hair that the salt drops have wet. Being young, you have not known the fool's triumph, nor yet love lost as soon as gained, nor the best labourer dead and all the sheaves to bind. What need have you to dread the monstrous crying of wind? Thank you.
William Butler Yeats, an image from a past life. He never until this night that I been stirred, the elaborate starlight throws the reflection on the dark stream till all the eddies gleam, and thereupon comes that scream from terrified invisible beast or bird, image of poignant recollection. She, an image of my heart that is smitten through out of all likelihood or reason, and when at last youth's bitterness been past, I thought all my days were cast, amid most lovely places smitten as though it had not learned its lesson. He, why have you laid your hands upon my eyes? What can suddenly alarm you? Whereupon the west. My eyes should never rest. What is there but the slowly fading west? The river imaging the flashing skies, all that to this moment charmed you. She, a sweetheart from another life, floats there as though she had been forced to linger from vague distress, or arrogant loveliness, merely to loosen out a tress among the starry eddies of her hair upon the painless of a finger. He, but why should you grow suddenly afraid and start, I at your shoulder, imaging that any night could bring an image up or anything, even to eyes what beauty had driven mad, but images to make me fonder. She? Now she has thrown her arms above her head, whether she threw them up to flout me, or but to find now that no fingers bind, that her hair streams upon the wind, I do not know that no, I am afraid of the hovering thing night brought me.
Down by the Sally Gone
that ends the virtual recording for Yeats Day 2020 for Sandymount residents. The readers were Tony Jordan, Glenys Casson, Claire McAvady, Rodney Devitt, Mary Ryan, Louise Burke, Maurice Curran, Miriam McAvoy, Margaret Pickup, Patrick Lynch. Down by the Sally Gardens was sung by Claire McAvady, accompanied by Louise Burke. I would like to thank Maurice Curran for undertaking this project for the residents of Sandymount. And the only thing I can hope for is that in 2021 we will be able to return to the Yeats bust on Sandymount Green for our regular performance. I hope you enjoyed the virtual recording. Thank you very much.